If it is, here we go. Hi guys, good afternoon. So I don't have tons of time. I have to be back to work. I have a meeting at 1, but I wanted to come on and say hello. I didn't come on this morning because sometimes I want to try different times a day, see who's on, see who has any questions, anything I can help them with. So quick overview. My name is Tina. Let's see if I can fix this and make it a little bit better. There we go. My name is Tina, and I am a 54-year-old recovering diabetic, I guess I say. And the reason why I say that is because a year ago this month, I went into the doctors for a regular physical and found out that I was a severe type 2 diabetic. And I've told my story on here quite a bit. And the reason why I tell it is because I think that um, it's pretty resignatable, right? What I went through, what I'm going through, it's very resignatable. There's people have been through it. Tons of us go through it. 93% of us suffer from it, so I'm not the only one, right? So I'm not the only one going through it. So I didn't want to do a big thing today. I just want to come on and check in, see if there's any questions, if there's anything I can help anybody with. Hi, Nedson, how are you? And again, I have to go back to work. I have a busy day at work. It's been crazy meetings for some reason. So I said, you know what? During lunch, because I'm already done with my lunch, I'll go on and check in and see how everybody's doing. So anyway, so I don't want to go crazy with my little presentation, but there was one thing I did want to talk about, which I thought was pretty cool, was because I didn't realize how I want to talk about hangry, and I know that sounds silly, but hangry is a real thing, and if anybody's ever experienced it, let me know. But hangry is a real thing. It's a real thing. It's hungry and angry tied into one, right? So if you've ever felt that way, if you've ever your kids, you're like, oh, they just need a nap, or you feel like you just need a nap, or you're hungry, it is a real thing. Your body really goes through it. So I think that, hi Sandra, how are you? Hi guys, thank you so much for joining. Again, this won't be a very long one today. I just wanted to come on and say hello, oops, and check in and see if anybody has any questions. And if you don't have any questions, I thought I would at least go through this and kind of teach you a little something about being hangry. Because it's an actual thing, and your body really reacts to it differently. Um, it's a body's reaction. So hungry and angry, hangry, same thing. So again, my name is Tina. I am tuning in from Massachusetts. This is where I live. I am a 54-year-old mom of 3 boys. I'm nothing out of the ordinary. I've just gone from being a severe type 2 diabetic to a non-diabetic in 8 months naturally. I did no medication, and that's okay. Not that I'm against medication. I think medication is very important, but I did it without it. I was able to learn so much about my body, learn so much about what I was eating, learn so much about my daily routine, learn what was on my plate. And this is why I come on to share it, because unfortunately, when I went to the doctors, my doctor did not talk about these things. She didn't bring up metabolic health. She didn't bring up insulin resistant. Wasn't even a word that was discussed. And all she said to me was that if you don't get your stuff under control, your diabetes under control with medication. She is a doctor of medicine, so she wanted me to take medication. She called in prescription of metformin and a shot for me to take. She said, if you don't get this under control, what's going to happen is, she listed 4 things. She said I was going to lose my eyesight, I was going to forget my family, lose my memory, I was going to lose my limbs, and my organs were going to shut down. That was the only information that she gave me when I went to the doctors a year ago. Because I told her I didn't think I really wanted to be medicated. I didn't think I wanted medication. I really wanted to try to see, wanted to do some research first. I didn't want to wasn't taking any medication at that point, so I didn't want to start the wagon wheel if I didn't have to. I've known so many people who have had, once you start on medication, it seems to add up. It's like a wagon wheel. Oh, hi, Coach. How are you? Coach Carla. Thank you so much for joining. I'm happy that you're here. So many people, it gets going, right? And I just wanted to learn about it if I could. So how I learned about it was, I came home from that doctor's appointment. I know she called in the medication because I get the notices from my CVS is the pharmacy that I go to. I got notices saying I called it in. I never picked it up, and that's okay. And I'll tell you why and what I ended up doing. So I came home. I was very upset about my situation. I was very upset that I was diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic pretty bad. My A1C was 11.5, which is double what it's supposed to be, right? If anybody knows it has anything to knows about prediabetes or diabetes, this may sound familiar to you, right? So I was, severe is what I consider severe because it's double, and it was borderline. They only register up to 14. 14 is the highest that your body will register. Other than that, they just say above 14. So 11.5 and 14 are not too far away, right? So it's kind of scary stuff. But I was able to reverse that in 8 months naturally from an 11.5 to a 5.2. My doctor told me that I had to manage it. Even after I went down to the 7.3, which was my first visit, and then my second visit, she still said, pick up the metformin so you can manage it. She still wanted me to manage it and not get to the root cause. Even when I told her what I did, she didn't want to talk about it. But again, I like my doctor as a person. We just don't see eye to eye on this, right? So, anyway, so if anybody has any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments. I'm only here for a little bit. I just wanted to check in and give a little bit of my story and talk about hangry, right? So, anyways, in the 8 months time, I did 4 quick things to get my health back, to get my glucose under control, to understand my body. I came home that day from the doctors and did a little bit of sulking on my chair. I sat in my chair and I was sulking. I was very upset with myself that I had done that to myself, that I had gotten myself in that position. So I sat in my chair and I was flipping on here on TikTok and online. I was on Facebook. I was on all YouTube. I was doing all kinds of research just to kind of see what is going on. What can I do? And I came across this amazing diabetic educator who said, if you have these symptoms, and she listed my symptoms, and I can go through some symptoms with you guys if you don't know what are symptoms of of insulin resistance, because very easily it could be you. You could think it's just part of getting older, which is exactly what I thought. I thought I am, I didn't think I wasn't sick. When I went into the doctors and she said, listen, you're type 2, you're a severe type 2 diabetic, and you're going to lose your limbs and your brain and all of these things. I was like, what? I didn't even feel sick. I had symptoms. Yes, I did. But they were something that I thought was just getting older, right? Some of the symptoms that I had, and I mainly only talk about the ones that I had because they were me, I experienced them, right? So some of the ones that I had, yeah, yes, my toes match. So some of the symptoms that I had was brain fog. I had neuropathy. If anybody's ever had that, neuropathy is a terrible thing. Brain fog, neuropathy, skin tags, eczema, blurry vision with the black dots in the eyes. Obviously, I had a hard time losing weight, tired all the time. What other things? I had aches and pains. I told you about the neuropathy. I had IBS. That's embarrassing. I don't really like to talk about that because, IBS is a real thing, though. But that was something that I suffered from terribly. It was actually ruled my world. It was like if I was going somewhere to eat, I'd have to be careful what I was eating. If I was because it could vary at any time. I could have a flare up, I guess you'd call it, and then I could have a problem. So what man, I don't know. I will tell you this. So then one thing I can say is that once I realized what I was going through, once I realized what it was and did some research, and like I told you, she told me that these are not symptoms that I have to live with forever. I was able to get them under control, and all of those things are gone. I no longer have brain fog. I don't have those black floaty things. Eczema, skin tags, neuropathy is gone, IBS is gone. All of those things are gone. And it was all from the root cause, which was insulin resistance. And I didn't know that. It wasn't a discussion that I had with my doctor, unfortunately. We just talked about what medication I was going to take, and then she said, come back in 90 days and we'll increase your medication, which call me old-fashioned or call me ignorant, but I thought medication was to get you better so you wouldn't have to be on medicine. But that's a different story. Okay, so again, just a basic person, 54 years old. I am in school to be a nutritionist, but other than that, I have no medical background. What I do have is experience with this. I was diagnosed last year. I had personally gone myself and reversed it on my own in 8 months, and I did it naturally. So I share what I've done, because even if it's just 1 or 2 people who take my information, what I say, and do some research, and you can learn for yourself that this is something that you can do, that you can you can get your health under control, and you can be a non-diabetic from type 2. I do understand type 1 is a different story. Do you know there's the different types of diabetes is type 1, which they don't produce their own insulin, so they need insulin for that reason. I have been seeing some great studies going around that there are some things that help our type 1 friends, so I pray that that works for them so they don't have to. Type 2 is diuretic. I ate my way to type 2 diabetes, and I ate my way out. I just had to understand my plate. I had to learn how to set up my plate. I had to learn what I was eating, when I was eating, all of these things. I just had to learn. Nothing was hard. Nothing was hard to learn. And so that's the other reason why I told you. So I'm 50, I was 53, I'm 54. I know people who are older than me who have reversed their diabetes. I know people who are younger than me that have reversed their diabetes. And you don't have to be a diabetic. Insulin resistance is the beginning, right? So if you could catch it in the beginning when your glucose is a little high, or you're having symptoms, or you just don't feel right, if you can catch it in the beginning and you don't have to go through this, you don't have to be diagnosed, you don't have to have that conversation with your doctor, that's my hope for you, that what I'm talking about helps you so that you don't have to go through that. That's my hope and my prayer for you. So this is why I share it. Okay. So if anybody has any questions or want more information about what I'm talking about, you can go back into the beginning of my page, and you'll see a link, LANK, that'll bring you to like a little website I put together. It's pretty basic, pretty straightforward website, but it will talk about what I'm talking about and then give you some more information. That's all. Just in case you don't have time to stay, it is lunchtime or whatever. If you want to do that, please do. Okay, so because it's Wednesday, I wanted to keep it a little bit lighter, and I didn't want to talk all about what I went through and all my symptoms, but I do like to list them in case it's something that you or somebody you love goes through. But I did want to talk about hangry, and the reason why is I remember when my kids were little, I would say when they were like tired or grumpy, I would just say, "Oh, they need a nap," or maybe you're hungry, or I didn't realize it was a real thing. And if anybody's ever got hangry, please let me know in the comments. I would love to know that, because yes, I have. My blood sugar has dropped out. My body has gone into a panic, and that's really what it is. This is why I want to talk about it, because that's really what it is. I printed it out because I don't want to miss anything. So I'm just going to take a look at my notes to make sure that I don't miss anything. But hangry. Okay, so it's a mood swing with anxiety with insulin resistance. Okay, so whatever it happens to be, you're hungry, your stomach is empty, your brain needs glucose to work, right? Your muscles need glucose to work. So what's going to happen is if your body doesn't know to switch to fat burning, to switch to what you have stored, or at that moment when your stomach is empty and your brain starts panicking, like, uh-oh, I have no more energy, I have no more glucose, there isn't any more food to keep me going, you may start feeling feeling it happening. You're getting hangry. So it's anxiety with insulin resistance are very common and very real. What you feel is a result of blood sugar instability, right? So it's dropping. So maybe I ate something and I digested it, started to drop, and don't have more. I don't have any. I'm not eating anymore, or whatever it is. It will drop. And if it's ever happened to anybody, I'm sorry. It's a terrible thing. But please share it in there if you'd like to. Okay, so blood sugar instability. So when I was insulin resistant, when I was diabetic, this is very common for us because our sugars are like this all the time. Our glucose is like this all the time. Our eating and all of that all the time. I was told to eat 6 small meals a day. Has anybody been told that before? I was told eat 6 small meals a day, and that should raise your metabolism. It should keep you out of this hangry, and that is not what it did. 6 small meals a day, all it did was set me up for diabetes, and my insulin was out of control and my body was out of control. That is the only thing it set me up for. But whatever, like I said, she's a doctor of medicine. I do understand that training for nutrition isn't as big for MDs, so this is stuff I had to learn on my own, and I'm an adult. I should have done it anyway, so I'm glad that I did. Okay, so blood sugar instability, hormone disruption, and brain chemistry changes. So that's what I was talking about. The brain and stomach talk to each other all day long, right? Your stomach will talk to your brain. It's like the next second brain is your stomach, right? It's like the center of all your everything that you do. So the brain goes to stomach's like, nope, we're empty, we don't have anything. The brain starts to panic. So that is your brain chemistry change. Not personality issue or lack of emotional control. Okay, your blood sugar will rise and then it drops after you eat, right? Insulin spike. Blood sugar then drops too fast. Sometimes medication makes your insulin drop, your blood sugar drop too fast if you're on on a medication. Maybe you're changing your diet. Like I did, it happened to me when I was eating all day and I decided to close my eating to do time restricted eating and not eat as much. So what had happened was, I went from eating 6 times a day and I broke it down. I was told that medicine sometimes can do that. So if you're on a medication and it could help you, it could drop your sugar too fast. And it's just a terrible feeling. I remembered I was in a store and I got sweaty and I got panicky and I got lightheaded. I was nauseous. Everything was weird. It's just bizarre when your sugar drops out. Just how much it can control, right? How that happens. Okay, so what happens is this is what I thought was interesting. The body releases. Your brain will tell your body, "Oh my gosh, there's no more food. We're gonna die." Whatever your brain would say. Your body will release a stress hormone, adrenaline and cortisol. That's how cortisol raises too. You get the cortisol raise, but adrenaline, which is like if you're scared, your body releases adrenaline. So your brain is scared that it's not going to have the energy that it needs to, or the food in there to keep it going. So your brain will tell your body, we're in a panic, we're in a meltdown, hit the alarm, we got a problem. Okay, so it'll release adrenaline and cortisol. And these are hormones, right? These hormones cause anxiety and irritability. So this is where you get hangry. You get nervous and hangry, right? So you get racing thoughts. So your brain is like, oh my God, what if this is it? What if there's no more food? What if we starve to death? Although there's a food store in every corner of everywhere you go, your brain doesn't know that. Your brain just knows that the tank is empty, and that's what it knows. And you feel on edge, which is why you're hangry. People say, do you need a nap? Or are you hungry? Because, that's how that happens. Okay, it does insulin resistance, which is what I was, which is part of being a type 2 diabetic, even a type 3 diabetes. If you don't know what that is, that's Alzheimer's and dementia of the brain, which you don't want that either. But insulin resistance affects your brain chemistry. If it's used to have a ton of glucose in there and you don't have that, thank you for the likes, I appreciate it. Your chemistry will be off. And that's how I felt, like I was gonna pass out. Very hot, very red, chest was burning. It was terrible. It was weird. And I never want that again. It was just a weird feeling, and I pray nobody goes through that. And I always worry about when people are driving, things of that, so what was I gonna say? So that is something that I don't wish on anybody. Because I was wondering, like, if I was driving, what would have happened? Like if I had that dropout, it would never happen again. I had that one time. That was the only time it was terrible. I'll never forget it, obviously. Okay, disrupts communication between the brain and regions, right? Because your brain doesn't care about what else is going on right now. It just wants to get that glucose in your brain, and that's all it wants. So it doesn't care. So this is what happens. Okay, and it lowers resilience to stress. Then you become stressed. Doesn't matter what it is. Your kids are talking to you, your boss is talking to you, whatever it is, you're on edge because your brain doesn't care about anything else but getting food in there. Okay, so energy shortage makes emotions harder to manage. So your brain needs steady fuel, like I had told you. Brain fatigue reduces emotional regularity. Okay, so now we get it. We get what it is. We know that it's estrogen. So how to avoid it? Okay, so this is what I wanted to talk about. So, look at this. Carb crashes mimics a panic attack. I completely get that. So there was what calms it. Okay, so this is what I wanted to talk about. So I'm talking about hangry, how you get like that. But how do you avoid that? How do you avoid that situation? It could be for a child. It could be for yourself. It could be for somebody that you love. You want to balance your meals. Okay, so and I'm not saying carbs are the enemy. Please do not think I'm saying that. Carbs are not the enemy. If you have carbs, it's okay. It's a time and a place where on your plate you have the carbs, right? So if you balance your meals, I always think this is how I do my meals: fiber, protein, carbs. Carbs are last, almost like a dessert. It's not first because it will give you that spike. It's not first because there isn't any nutritional value in carbs. So I would rather have something that my body needs as opposed to what it enjoys, if that makes sense. I enjoy steak and chicken, but obviously the rice and the pasta tastes better, right? So I need to have fiber first, to keep my gut healthy, keep my biomes happy, and then I also need to have protein to keep that burning. I want to keep that burning going, right? So that's balance of meals of protein, fiber, and healthy fats. I know growing up, fats we were told were bad for your heart, high cholesterol, all these things. So it took me a little bit. Oh, hello, Victor. How are you? Thank you so much for being here. Um, it took me a little bit to learn that fat isn't the enemy. Fat isn't the enemy, that our body needs it, our brain needs it to function. So that just took me a little bit longer. Reduce fine carbs and sugars. Like I was talking about, if you have a high sugar meal, it's going to go up and go down quickly. It's going to up and crash quickly. So if you can try to put the fiber, the protein will. So my WhatsApp number, Victor, is the phone number that's up there. I'm in the United States, so it's 1 plus the number, right? So that if that helps you at all. So if you can have the protein, it'll burn longer. It'll keep burning steady. That's the big difference. Excuse me, I got a tickle in my throat. So it says eat consistently, but I don't do that. What I do now is I do time restricted eating. I no longer eat those 6 small meals a day. I break it down and I do 16 and 8. I don't eat for 16 hours. I just had my lunch, and then I won't eat until dinner. So it'll be at least 4 or 5 hours before my first meal of the day and my dinner time. And then I won't eat again until tomorrow. And I never thought that would be me. I always thought I was going to be, I needed to eat 6 small meals a day. So it took a little time to not eat all day long. That was a little bit something I had to get used to. Sorry, I think it's, I just splashed in my face. I'm a hot mess today, but for some reason I have a tickle in my throat today. I don't know what it is. I slept with the windows open last night. It might be that. But okay, so I have 5 more minutes and then I have to get off to get back to work. But if anybody has any questions, that was basically what it says. It says to balance your meals, reduce sugars and carbs. So this is the other thing that's really great is if you can walk for 15 minutes after you eat, it'll help lower your glucose naturally. It won't do a drop. Your exercise, your muscles are your best glucose burner. Your muscles are your best glucose burner. So if you can exercise, I have like a walking pad, if you can go outside and get a little exercise after you eat, it'll bring it down slowly. It'll bring it down correctly. It'll go into your muscles where it belongs. So that's something, if you can do that. I know it doesn't always work with work. If you have to work or if you have little ones, it doesn't always work, but that's something that they suggest if you have insulin resistance or pre-diabetes, diabetes, that you should try to walk at least 15 minutes after you eat. I mean, it's the right weather now for me to do that. In the wintertime, it wouldn't be so easy, so that's why the walking pad comes in. So that's something that they say, and then it'll give you'll digest slowly. The fiber in your body as well, if you do fiber first, will help slow down your digestion. It'll take what you eat and put it where it needs to go, which is really important because you don't want to burn right through it. And with the IBS that I had, I didn't even know if I even got the nutrients because I felt like it was going right through. So the fiber has slowed that down and stopped the IBS, so I'm able to digest the food that I have. I hope that helps. I hope that little bit of information that I wanted to share with you helps. If there's anything else I can share with you, please let me know. I love coming on talking about things. If not, I just give an overview of my story and the things that I did to reverse my health, because if it's not you, it's got to be somebody that you know, because unfortunately 93% of us are going through this, and 50%, and I was a 50%, don't even know it. So if you see signs of things that like I told you, the IBS, the skin tags, the discoloration around the neck, belly fat, legs hurt, swelling, inflammation, those are all signs of insulin resistance. And so if you know somebody like that, just tell them that you love them and you want to help them. So if there's any information, any of my videos, anything that I do that I can help somebody not get on the wagon wheel of medication for type 2 because we ate our way there, we should be able to eat our way out. That's what I want to do. Okay, so guys, I have to go. I'm so sorry. I love you guys very much. If anybody followed me, I'm going to follow you back right when I get off of the call. I don't know how to do that while I'm live. But if you have any questions, you can direct message me. You can WhatsApp me. You can do anything you want. I want to help and share what I know. I don't know everything, but I experienced everything. I can tell you that. And I've been through it when it comes to this diabetes, and I'm grateful that it's gone. But I don't want anybody else to go through it. If I can avoid it for you, I'd love to. But guys, have a good day. Happy Wednesday, and I'll be back tomorrow. I think this is a great time of day. I might try this for my lunchtime. I usually go on at 6 in the morning, but I so many more people on here, so I might try that then. But guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much.